I was 22 years old when I learned that love isn't always enough. His name was Xander. He wasn't the kind of boy my parents had imagined for me. He didn't come from money. He didn't have a fancy degree or a family name that opened doors. He was just good. Genuinely, quietly, completely good. We met at a coffee shop where he worked part-time while studying to become a paramedic. I was there with a friend, complaining about some assignment, and he overheard and made a joke that made me laugh. By the end of that week, we were inseparable. For 2 years, we built something beautiful. Long walks in the park. Late-night phone calls. Dreams about the future, a small house, a garden, maybe kids someday. He talked about becoming a paramedic, saving lives. I talked about opening my own small business. We were young and hopeful and sure that nothing could stop us. I knew my father wouldn't approve. My father is a practical man. He worked 30 years at the same company, retired with a pension, and believed that life should follow a certain path. Go to school, get a good job, marry someone stable, build security. Xander, with his uncertain schedule and his dreams of emergency response, didn't fit that picture. I tried to prepare my father. I talked about Xander's kindness, his dedication, his plans. My father listened, nodded, and said nothing. I mistook his silence for acceptance. I was wrong. The night everything changed started like any other. Xander called and asked if he could come over. He sounded nervous, which was unusual. Xander was never nervous. I need to talk to your father, he said. My heart skipped. About what? You know about what? I did know. We'd talked about it for months. He wanted to ask for my hand. Properly. The old-fashioned way. I thought it was sweet, even if a little outdated. Are you sure? I asked. I've never been more sure of anything. He arrived at 7, dressed in his best shirt, holding a small box in his pocket. I let him in, my hands shaking. My parents were in the living room, my father in his usual chair, my mother beside him with a book she wasn't reading. Xander walked in, shook my father's hand, and sat down across from him. Sir, he said, I'd like to talk to you about something important. My father's face was unreadable. Go ahead. Xander took a breath. I love your daughter. I've loved her for 2 years, and I know in my heart that she's the person I want to spend my life with. I'm asking for your blessing. For her hand in marriage. The silence that followed was deafening. My father looked at Xander for a long moment. Then he looked at me. Then he looked back at Xander. No. One word. That's all it took. Xander's face fell. Sir, I know I don't have much right now, but I have plans. I'm finishing my training. I'll have a steady job. I'll take care of her. I said no. My father's voice was firm, final. She's not marrying someone like you. Someone like you. The words hung in the air like smoke. I stood up. Dad, sit down. He didn't look at me. His eyes were locked on Xander. You think love is enough? You think good intentions pay bills? She deserves stability. Security. A future without worry. You can't give her that. Xander's hands were shaking, but his voice stayed steady. I can. Give me a chance to prove it. My answer is no. And it's not going to change. I looked at my mother, hoping for support. She looked away. Xander stood up slowly. He looked at me, and I saw the pain in his eyes. But there was something else too. Dignity. He wouldn't beg. Thank you for your time, sir, he said quietly. Then he walked out. I ran after him. Caught him on the porch. Xander, wait. He turned. His eyes were wet. I tried. I really tried. I know. I know you did. I grabbed his hands. This isn't over. It is. You heard him. I don't care what he said. My voice was fierce. I'm not letting you go. Not like this. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he pulled me close and held me. That night, I made a decision. I went back inside, walked past my father without a word, and went to my room. I packed a bag. clothes, photos. The letters Xander had written me over 2 years. Everything that mattered. My mother appeared in my doorway. "What are you doing?" "I'm leaving." "You can't." "Your father." "I don't care what my father says anymore." I walked past her down the stairs toward the front door. My father was still in his chair, watching me. "If you walk out that door," he said, "don't bother coming back." I stopped, turned, looked at him one last time. "I love him," I said. "And I thought you loved me." I guess I was wrong about one of those things. I walked out. I never looked back. Xander was waiting at the end of the driveway. He'd seen me coming and walked to meet me. "What happened?" "I left." My voice was shaking. "I left, and I'm not going back." He pulled me into his arms. "Are you sure?" I've never been more sure of anything. We drove to his small apartment that night. It wasn't much, a studio with a futon and a kitchen the size of a closet. But it was ours. It was the first place I'd ever chosen for myself. The next few years were hard. I won't pretend they weren't. Xander finished his paramedic training and started working 12-hour shifts. I found a job at a local shop and took online classes at night. We saved every penny. We dreamed about the future. We built a life together, piece by piece, with nothing but our own hands and our own determination. My family didn't call. I didn't call them. The silence stretched into months, then years. Sometimes, late at night, I wondered if I'd made a mistake. Not about Xander, never about him. But about leaving so completely. About cutting myself off from everyone I'd known. The loneliness was heavy sometimes. But then Xander would come home, exhausted from a shift, and wrap his arms around me, and I'd remember why I'd chosen this. Why I'd chosen him. 5 years passed. Xander was promoted. I finished my degree and started my own small business. We moved out of the studio and into a real apartment with a balcony and natural light. We talked about marriage, about kids, about the future we were finally building. I never told him, but I thought about my father sometimes. Wondered if he ever thought about me. If he regretted that night. Then the call came. It was my mother. I hadn't heard her voice in 5 years. "Your father is sick," she said. "Really sick. He's in the hospital. He's asking for you." I sat down heavily. "Asking for me?" "He won't say why. But he keeps saying your name. Please, come." I looked at Xander. He was watching me, his face full of concern. "I'll be there," I said. We drove to the hospital that night. The same city I'd left 5 years ago. The same streets I'd walked as a girl. Everything looked smaller now. Different. My father was in a room on the 3rd floor. He looked old. Frail. Nothing like the man who'd sat in that chair and said no. When he saw me, his eyes filled with tears. "You came," he whispered. "I came." He reached for my hand. I let him take it. "I was wrong," he said. That night, I was so wrong. I didn't say anything. I just waited. I thought I was protecting you. I thought I knew what was best. But I was just scared. Scared of losing you. Scared of you making the same mistakes I made. His voice broke. "I pushed you away, and I lost you anyway." "You didn't lose me," I said quietly. "I've been here. Living my life. Building something good." "I know. Your mother told me." He squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you. I should have said it years ago." "I'm so proud of you." I felt tears on my own cheeks now. "I love him," I said. "I still love him. I'll always love him." "I know." My father closed his eyes. "I know that now." My father lived another 3 years. They weren't easy years. There were treatments, setbacks, good days, and bad. But something had shifted between us. The wall I'd built, the silence I'd maintained, it started to crumble. Xander came with me to visit. At first, my father didn't know what to say to him. The awkwardness was thick enough to cut. But Xander, being Xander, just kept showing up. Kept being kind. Kept being the same person he'd always been. One day, about a year in, my father called him over. "Sit down," he said. Xander sat. "I owe you an apology," my father said. "I judged you without knowing you. I decided you weren't good enough without giving you a chance. That was wrong." Xander was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. "Thank you, sir." "Don't call me sir. Call me," he paused. "Call me whatever you're comfortable with." Xander smiled. "Okay." That was the moment everything changed. Not forgiveness exactly. Something deeper. Understanding. 2 years later, on a warm Saturday in June, Xander and I got married. It wasn't a big wedding. Just a small gathering in my mother's backyard, with flowers we'd arranged ourselves and food my mother had cooked. My father walked me down the aisle, leaning on a cane, his steps slow but determined. When he placed my hand in Xander's, he didn't say much. Just 3 words. "Take care of her." Xander nodded. "Always." My father died 6 months later, peacefully in his sleep, with my mother beside him. At the funeral, people said kind things. Talked about his work, his dedication, his quiet strength. But what I remembered most was something he'd said to me in those last years. "I was afraid," he told me once. "Afraid you'd make the same mistakes I did. Afraid you'd struggle the way I struggled. I thought if I controlled everything, I could protect you from pain. But all I did was cause more of it." I held his hand. "You were trying. That's what matters." "Does it?" He looked at me. "Does trying count when you fail?" "Yes," I said. "It counts. It always counts." He closed his eyes. "I love you. I hope you know that." "I know. I think about that night sometimes. The night Xander asked for my hand, and my father said no. The night I walked out and didn't look back. I don't regret leaving. I don't regret choosing Xander, choosing our life, choosing to fight for something real. But I'm grateful for those last years. Grateful for the chance to understand my father, not as the man who said no, but as a person. Flawed. Scared. Trying in his own broken way to do the right thing. Love isn't always enough. That's what I learned that night. But sometimes, if you're lucky, it's enough to bring you back together. And that's everything. Last week, Xander and I celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary. We sat on our balcony, watching the sunset, holding hands. "Any regrets?" he asked. I thought about it. Really thought about it. "None," I said. "Not a single one." He smiled. "Me neither." Somewhere, I like to think my father is watching. And maybe, just maybe, he's smiling too. He asked my father for my hand that night. The answer made me leave home. But in the end, it brought me back. And I wouldn't change a thing.